Well, how's it going? How you getting on, everybody? You're all welcome to Buckshot, episode 108. 108. Fair play to us for Friday, the 19th of April 2019. Good Friday. Great Friday. Huh? How you doing? Are you alright? The sun's out, guns out, tops off, drinking cans by the canal. It can't be bad, sure it can't. Yeah, we're all happy the sun's out. Don't trust it though. It'll flog rain next week. Just, don't pretend, don't show it that you're enjoying it. You know, that kind of way. Just kind of begrudgingly walk around grumbling. Then the sun will stay for longer. It's a proven fact. Proven fact. As you're listening to this, Patrons will get this a little earlier, but as you're listening to this, it'll be Friday. As I said, I will be in the Goat Comedy Club in Goatstown, in County Goat, City of Goats. It's just, I've been in the bar before, and for some reason this is making me happier than anything to actually play inside a goat. I don't know, I'm a child. I'm an absolute child. Any Corkonians, I'll be in... Now, I would say Coughlan's. Corkonians would say Collins. And then everybody else in the world would say Coughlan's. So, I mean, it's Cough and Lands. So you can see, yeah, okay, all right. It's anyway. Anybody down that neck of the woods will know where I'm talking about. I'll be there next Tuesday on the 23rd. And yeah, don't worry, I'll be talking to you next Tuesday anyway, so don't worry about it. I'll tell you about other gigs that are coming up, and we'll be grand after that. Right, thank you very much to the Patreon people. God bless you. God bless you. Given the day that's in it, God bless you. God bless you and all your Easter eggs. God bless you. I'm going to so eat chocolate. I'm not too worried about, but I came off the jellies for the month, for the 40 days. Not an overly religious move, really, but just a discipline thing, because I've an absolute addiction to the jellies, lads. The pick and mix at the petrol stations when I'm driving around doing these gigs is just murdering me. So, but I'm absolutely going to be grotesque on Sunday when it comes to the amount of jellies I'm going to eat. But thank you very much to the Patreon people. You're getting this one early. If you haven't been part of the Patreon, you'd like to contribute to the show, and that keeps basically everything ticking over here and try and make it an absolute priority over other stuff that I have to do to make a living. You can go to Patreon / that's a new word, isn't it? / Tom O'Mahony Buckshot. I put the link in the show notes anyway. Have a gander at it. If you fancy slinging a couple of dollars, it does help everything out. Obviously, you will get the entire back catalogue exclusive to Patreons from the Tom and Jerry show, and you'll get shows earlier. You'll get the live feed on Tuesdays for the Ramble Pod, and there's more stuff coming that's purely for Patreons. I will be moving the Tea Republic shop over to the website, so you'll be able to buy direct through the TomO'Mahony.com website. So you can get everything over there really at the minute. I haven't set up a Patreon page over there, but at the moment you can see the gigs and you will be able to buy merch for the show through the Tea Republic shop. Like I said, anybody who's gotten any of their stuff that they've ordered in the last few weeks, send us now a snap of it. I'd like to see what you're doing with it, even if it's kind of weird. Do you know that kind of way? Right, that's all that stuff done. Let's move on to today's guest. I've known Paddy for a good few years. He's a mad bastard. He's great crack, ridiculously intelligent and knowledgeable, and this podcast could have gone on for about 7 hours. He's the lead in the Camembert Quartet, which is the RTE late show band. We talked a little bit about that, a lot about what he's got another project on the go with a class bar in town called Nappertandies, because he's mad into history, but he puts a funny twist on it. Like, he makes it absolutely palatable. But very interesting fella. But like I said, we could have gone on for hours at this one. We had to wrap it up after the hour because, we're fucking places to go and things to do. But this could have gone on for ages. It was absolutely brilliant. A total pleasure. Sit back and enjoy the brilliant Paddy Cullivan. Paddy C.
How are you doing?
I'm delighted you came in. You poor man. Suffered in there your art last night.
Oh, I'm great. I'm just working like a demon, like yourself, Tom. That we never get to see each other anymore.
No.
There was only one time in our lives.
Are we going straight there, like?
That we gigged together.
You're ready? We're not 30 seconds in, for a minute into this podcast, and you're going there.
But it was one of the most, devastating.
Oh yeah.
Nights of my life when we did a gig in Tremor to 9 people in a so-called comedy club, and I tried to put across my kind of erudite, deep, satirical songs to a bunch of people who just hated me. And then you, even though you were more a man of the people, even your jokes.
Oh, it was a waste. Like, to say it was a waste of time, we were shoveling shit up a hill. Like, that's what
It was like feeding caviar to pigs.
Yeah, like the fact that they were mostly angry with us because we had all our own teeth, Paddy. You see, this is the you know what I mean, and we weren't related to our sister.
That's mean now. I don't mean to be insulting to the people of the good people of Tremor.
That's the problem. The good people of Tremor weren't there.
Yeah, well, they weren't. No, and these were tourists. I think these are people from all over the country.
Some sort of savages. And about 5 minutes in, I realised, all right, this isn't going to work at all.
No.
But let's just try and maybe insult a few of them and see can we have the crack a small bit. And
yeah,
it some way went like I got out of there and going, okay, that was a dreadful gig. And then you went on stage and you tried to educate these people with satirical comedy.
No.
And they were annoyed with you because you could play musical instruments.
Yes.
You were showing them far too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think they were annoyed at me because I had hair.
That was it.
Like there was kind of more molecular level of hatred.
That was it. This wasn't.
It was down to my very existence.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have mattered what I said or did.
No.
There was something about a man with a beard and glasses walking into that room that made them think, we have to kill this man.
Well, you see, you were there. You were forcing them to do something against their will.
I was, yeah.
You weren't, and neither one of us were like sliding in there with them and, hey, isn't it gas? And you just went in there and they saw a man that's looking to educate him because you had glasses on, as you said.
That's it.
And that screams education.
It was kind of like the Cultural Revolution under Mao. Do you know what I mean? I kind of thought that they wanted to put a... I thought they wanted to put a dunce's cap on me and walk me down the street.
I love this.
Saying shame, shame, shame.
Strip you naked as well.
Oh, the whole lot.
Repent, you fucker.
They wanted me to be Cersei Lannister, you know. It was it did break my spirit for quite some time. And what I loved was you stayed there almost like a protector to watch me.
I could have fucked off.
You could have, because
I feared for your life, Paddy.
You would have been well within your rights to fuck off, but no, you stayed and we kind of protected each other. Then we met a lovely Owen Kavanagh who brought us down. Like it was nice. He's a great pal, but even he didn't expect the kind of crowd that we got. You know,
the level of despair that was amongst these people.
Yeah, I would have called the venue Despair.
That's a great name, wouldn't it? Just so like anything above a horror show would have been.
And because we're comedians and vile egotists,
yeah,
we'll never blame ourselves for that. No, that our material wasn't up to scratch.
Did you not notice from the get-go was all about how they were at fault? There was no mention of us or any like what I found too in because I was in Waterford at the weekend.
Oh yeah,
and again dire. It's like, what is happening? Like. You know, Is
it because they're Vikings, really? And they're descended from Vikings, and they just have a different...
I think they like to think they're descended from Vikings, but I think they were, like, listening to the Irish History podcast, they would see the Vikings went down there for a look, and even they thought, nah.
We're out of here.
I'm not raping and pillaging down here. I'll do some pillaging, but that's about it.
Yeah, I love Waterford, but I find it hard to get an audience down there, weirdly. It's a funny place. But like, as I said, like as comedians, be like Stalin. That's the second time I mentioned a dictator in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Never apologize, never explain. That's the answer. But it was one of the long milestones in my road to leaving comedy per se.
Yeah. Because just prior to that, about a week or two prior, I remember you'd had a great gig at the Forbidden Fruit Festival.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is great, because we're on the same lineup. This is going to be great now. We'll go down to Waterford.
That's right.
And
we'd done a different... What I was doing was quite different at the time. Of course, I had the Camembert Quartet, which had made 2 comedy albums in 2002 and 2004. They'd gone down really well, but unfortunately, I didn't get picked up by the comedy fraternity, basically, because musical comedy was not popular in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
It was only when Tim Minchin came along and all of that, and fellas like Dead Cat Bounce and Rubber Bandits were able to kind of go along, and it's acceptable. Remember, there's quite a snobbery in stand-up comedy about music itself.
Well, if you pulled out a guitar, you were hiding behind it, basically. That was the vibe, like.
That was the vibe, and it's funny because all my life I'd loved musical comedy. I'd loved Tom Lehrer and Mel Brooks. You know, all the songs in his movies are stunning. You know, and you know, even here we'd had Des and Rosie and all that type of thing. Like, there was all these very good, and in Britain we had, like, what I found funny was that music had been funny.
Yeah.
Like the Beatles had always had funny songs. Like they'd always have a joke song on the album.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
You know, like Me and Mr. Mustard or...
Well, that was the thing I always wondered. Like, I know a lot of these boy bands and everything, and they're purely for financial means and everything. But if for a band that has put themselves together and everything else, wouldn't and weren't brought together by Louis Walsh, we're saying just smashed together to make money. Would you not want to sling out an old guess one in between all the heartbreak?
No, because I think
Or do some people, are they just no fucking crack, Paddy?
they're no crack, and we went into a world. I think the late 90s was remarkable, where music and comedy separated from each other completely.
Yeah.
So what we got was Coldplay.
Oh fuck yeah!
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we got Coldplay on one side, and then comedy on the other, and musical comedy veered off into, music and comedy became a thing by itself. Flight of the Conchords, all that type of thing.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
But only acceptable by about the mid 2000s. So I was too late to the party, right? But then I said, "Feck it, sure, I'll give it a go anyway." And in 2010, I started doing solo musical comedy shows, like the one that I failed at miserably down in Tremor.
Didn't. They failed you, Paddy.
Yeah, they did fail me. Yeah, and but the real thing about it was that you would, you'd be doing these songs. I did an EP of songs called "We Are Where We Are" after the crisis,
Right,
and all the songs had names like "We Are Living Beyond Our Means," "Going Forward," "Put Your Shoulder to the Wheel," and all of that. And so it was very deep, and it was kind of, I don't know what it was. I'm not saying that people should catch up with me. I'm saying I'm not right for the comedy audience. You know what I mean?
I get you. Yeah.
Because I think what I have is more cerebral, and what I'm doing now is more what I'm into, which is historical entertainment.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like I'm telling an actual historical story, but putting jokes in a little bit. You know what I mean? As well. So I'm getting the humor across, but what I'm really giving is a kind of a fun lecture.
Okay. Yeah. I'm with you. Yeah.
Because I went to Edinburgh as well, and all of my friends in comedy, and I loved them all dearly, like all went to Edinburgh and did the 40-day stints.
Yeah.
I went over for one day, and I got frightened by it. You know what I mean?
It's some animal, all right. Yeah.
And I didn't get frightened by it in terms of like I'm not good enough for this, but I got frightened that I would just drink myself to death.
That's the number one reason why I'm not there.
Yeah, exactly.
The last 3 years.
Exactly, and secondly, like everybody coming together, 3,000 people coming together to all do comedy gigs, all book accommodation. Everyone's getting screwed on money.
Yeah.
Kevin Gildee does brilliant stuff about like how 2 people came in to see him one time, and just him and and he does a whole show just about him and the 2 people chatting away.
I can't lose you.
I can't lose you. What can you do? And I'm not decrying or belittling, and I know loads of people go over and do very well and make loads of money, but Ian Coppinger even said to me once, there was a choice in the 2000s, get a mortgage or do Edinburgh.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
And then I thought to myself, and like, what is different about me compared to almost everybody else here? Well, obviously, we're all very different. We all have very different material.
Yeah.
But I don't think I was different enough, if you know what I mean.
I get you, yeah.
And so I'm much happier doing what I do now because it involves... I've kind of made my own world.
Yeah.
So I'm doing my 1798 show. I did a 1916 one in 2016 because I was so horrified by the centenary, what was going on publicly. And these shows took off, and they've kind of taken off. And there's fun in them as well. There's a bit of humour. Like I even do a song about John Delaney where I compare him to the IRA. I compare the Irish soccer team to the IRA.
Yeah.
And it's like, in many ways our soccer team is like the IRA. They were more active in the 90s and they haven't gone away. They give a 90-minute warning before they score a goal. When they pass the ball, they break our hearts, but they hold Ireland's soul. That's very controversial when I do that.
I'm so in agreement with it, though.
But it's true.
They
do give a 90-minute warning before they score a goal. Yeah. They generally score in the 92nd minute of every fucking game.
Yeah, that's...
So there's a bit of crack. I can throw that into the 1916 show even. You know what I mean? And I can still throw my humour in there. But what I'm doing now is kind of unique and different. I'm trying to build my own castle, which is Napper Tandy's on Merrion Row.
Yeah.
Where I'm doing me 1798 show monthly now.
Okay, nice.
Which is great, which means that I'm kind of... I want a home for it. I almost like it... Eventually I want to do it nightly.
Yeah.
So people are learning their history, they're eating their dinner, and they're getting their food, and I have a daily gig.
It totally worked. Like when you see, like they're able to pound out, like essentially a version of Riverdance,
up on Dame Street, and there's another one here on the Quays as well.
Yeah.
But they're able to do it like 3 times a night, like, so the turnover of people to come see it on a nightly thing would be there, like, you know.
Absolutely, and like I went to the Brazen Head, and they're doing a dinner show every night as well. And
That's the Brazen Head
there's
as
a whole
well.
there's a whole world of tourism that we don't even know about.
And
I'm intrinsically lazy. I don't want to travel. I want everyone to come to me.
But this is what a smart engineer does. You don't work harder, you work smarter.
You work smarter. That's
You know
it.
what I mean?
And so I never have to drive to Tremor ever again in my life.
I know, I'm the fucking idiot. Still driving down to the Dacia in the hope. I'm like Rihanna going
The
back
whole
to...
Dacia hates you.
I'm there for 2 nights in fucking October, like, but I'm like Rihanna going back to Chris Brown. I know it's going to hurt, but I fucking love him. You know that kind
I know. It's amazing. And and look, it's a challenge. I love that challenge.
Yeah,
And I've done my shows down in theatres. Now, what I started doing was art centres and theatres.
Yeah.
And that's a very interesting difference from comedy clubs and gig venues. You know, I'm still playing with the band 3 nights a week as well, you know. But and doing the late, obviously, on a Friday. But it's you go down and you kind of... I'm starting to get the build it and they will come thing happening now, which is really interesting and entertaining.
Yeah.
And...
get a fucking grant or something, Paddy. You're educating people.
Well, I am. But you see, the reason I did the 1798 show was... I'm sitting there looking at Brexit, and I'm looking at the fact we're going to have a united Ireland in 10 years. I will actually lay you €1 million bet that will happen.
No, I'm with you.
You're with me, okay. And no one in the South is even thinking about it. Now, you gig in Belfast.
A lot. I'm there tomorrow night.
Yeah, my shows sell out in Belfast all the time. I get great crowds. I got 2 people to Mullingar. So, in the New Republic, I'm burning Mullingar to the ground. Okay?
Can you take Tremor with you?
Tremor can go. I'm only kidding. Sorry, Mullingarians. But they're all talking about it in the North. They're all vitally clued into what's going on. I'm talking to unionist farmers. I did a gig there, and a bunch of unionist farmers were at it, believe it or not. And even they're saying, well, we're not losing our EU subvention. So we're going to seriously have to think about a united Ireland.
Well, you have to. You think the agricultural amount of agriculture in the North. I mean, they take their... being a culture is something serious up there.
Oh, it's vast. Yeah.
That is something serious up there. I mean, people down this neck of the woods, because, you know, 1 million people live in the greater Dublin area, they forget about agriculture and whatnot. Yeah. They haven't forgotten about it in Northern Ireland. It is a major thing. So... there was guys.
But these are North Antrim Presbyterian farmers who
but they're happy to sell their milk down through Ireland.
Well, they are.
As Irish milk,
and they're as DUP as it gets.
Oh yeah, no such thing as dinosaurs.
But even they are going. We have to think about this. Now, if a bunch of unionists are thinking about it, and all the Catholics are thinking about it, and all the nationalists, and all, I'm getting great fellas coming to my gigs. There's one guy came along and says, I said, and what are you? You know, and he goes, well, I'm a Protestant Republican communist. I love that. You know, I love meeting those guys. They're rare, but they're there. And but what they're saying is, like, we have to think about this. And meanwhile, in the South, there's a total sidelining and airbrushing and kind of like, this isn't happening. Look away, look away.
Yeah.
They're not ready for it at all.
Well, they do that with everything, sure.
Yeah. So when I tell the 1798 story, it blows everyone's minds because it was Presbyterians, Protestants, and Catholics working together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Of the 18 leaders of the United Irishmen, 12 were Protestants. 3 were Catholics and 3 were Presbyterians. So it totally turns history on its head, and it's why nobody wants to talk about it, in that we were all together at one time. The Orangemen were only set up in 1795 to start curbing it all. Maynooth University was only given to the Catholics in 1795 so that they would have a bit of power, and from that day on, the Catholic Church was on the side of the government in everything.
Okay.
From that day till this. So while they're trying to separate and divide, the United Irishmen are trying to get everybody together. And that's why this story is so fascinating and so brilliant. I bring bits of fun into it too, you know, like I compare Washington to Donald Trump, you know. And the way I get to do my Donald Trump impression, believe me, it's so good. And like where basically Washington, the reason the American Revolution happened was because of trade. Again, farming, trade, exports. All revolutions happen because of economics.
Yeah.
Right? All of it. If some people are living in a bad way, they'll fight. Because what have they got to lose? Nothing. They don't have anything.
Yeah.
And this is where capitalism always gets it wrong, by the way. Keep people happy and they'll never revolt. But keep them poor and the pikes will come out. And that's the end of you, right? And there's only one billionaire in the world talking about that right now. But and we won't pike him. I'm joking. But what I'm saying is, that this story is so important. It's so important about uniting and living in the age now of identity politics and all this, where people separate each other out into different colours and races and religions. These guys, the United Irishmen, had the answer in 1798, which was, we're all exactly the same. They were abolitionists. They were...
Were they communists?
Egalitarians. No, they weren't. No, they were all businessmen.
I suppose they were, yeah.
They were all the Presbyterian hardcore. This is what I'm talking about. This is why those unionist farmers got to me, because I was like going, these are just businessmen.
Yeah. And
they're looking at Brexit and going, this is bullshit. This is total bullshit.
This is terrible fucking... This is like going to Edinburgh with our show, basically.
It's like
this is a terrible business idea.
It's like going to live in Tremor after that gig we did. But you know what I mean?
I do, yeah.
So even they're seeing the bullshit of it, and like this mad last gasp of the British Empire. And I want Brexit. I want them gone. Anyone who calls for people's vote, I'm like, feck off. No, you made your choice. Get out. Then Scotland goes independent and joins the EU, and then England is just a country called England under Jeremy Corbyn, and it'll be great. Then we get our United Ireland.
Yeah.
Finally, we get a bit of sense going on here as well.
For all those songs.
Yeah, well, also, also the Southern Ireland will have to change radically as well.
How will we? What changes will we make? Do you reckon?
Well, look at this. I was looking at the property section of the Sunday Times yesterday, and there's a house in Ragar for £3 million, a Victorian house. The usual type of thing. Kind of upper wrap minds. I saw exactly the same design of house in Belfast, on Rugby Road, behind Queen's, which is a beautiful part of town. It.
Yeah.
£360,000.
What?
Yeah. So a house down here, the same size, in fact smaller than the one I saw in Belfast.
Sweet suffering Jesus.
It's $3 million, and up there it's the same price as a house in Crumlin, right? Fuck. So there's a whole heap of whoop ass coming for the south.
Good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the Northerns, they will not tolerate the overpriced bullshit and drivel that we feed ourselves here.
Well, even you drive up there and you see there's a better quality of car everywhere.
Yes. Yeah.
Because their cars because they can afford it. Do you know what I mean? See young fellas and young women driving around high-end fucking BMWs and stuff.
They can afford everything.
Because you're not getting ridden.
Yeah, their average wage is £27,000, but everything's a quarter of the price of here.
Yeah.
Our average wage is about €38,000, but everything's 4 times the fucking price.
Yeah, if not 10 times the fucking price, like that house.
I always laughed at, because we're part of Europe, surely don't we benefit from being part of Europe and all of that? Mm. And yet, if you wanted to import a car from the north, it was $5,000, bang,
yeah,
immediately.
yeah.
So, how was Europe working out for us there? With
apparently, though, what they're doing is illegal to do that.
It's completely the south is a corrupt shithole.
Yeah,
well, I describe in my show.
Only get stopped by customs once to realise that.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah. So I describe in my show, the 1798 show. Remember, in 1798, the Parliament was in College Green. There, it was run by 300 Anglican Protestants. They were the MPs. They granted the votes to Catholics in 1792, but you could only vote for Protestant. I mean, it was just... it's like being given the freedom to just ride along,
Yeah.
And then I looked at it and went, 300 people running the country and basically exploiting everything out of it and making a fortune, right? It's no different.
What's
today.
changed?
What
the fuck has changed?
What has changed? So it's kind of amazing to look at these questions. And again, it's not an easy thing to get across in the laughter lounge of a Saturday night.
Yeah, and 20 minutes said it's a tough one to,
Because I used to love doing the laughter lounge, but I would find it a challenge. You'd be given like 8 minutes and do it. And And doing 8 minutes of comedy is the greatest challenge in the world. It really is.
Unbelievable.
And having punchline after punchline and getting it all right and whipping the crowd into a frenzy. It's brilliant. I did it. But it wasn't for me. I want to talk about other things.
Well, that's the other side of it. There's friends of mine have created their own kind of, I suppose, microclimate. And they've created, like there's a mate of mine there, Colin Geddes, he's based outside Belfast, but he's created a microcosm right now where he does not have to step outside of the bounds of Northern Ireland.
Really?
And at the moment, he has 3/4 sold the SSC Arena for his one-man show.
Holy
stand
hell.
up.
Holy hell.
So, and that's the 3,500 they're going to have to push because it's selling so well. And this is for January. They're probably going to have to push it out to the 5,000.
Yeah.
And that's a micro. But he was like, I'm not going trips. I love stand up, and he has his own successful comedy club, which I'm doing tomorrow night. But he was saying like, no, I'm not. Why the fuck would I go trips in every which way when I can just create my own? Now he's done it a very smart way. He's ahead of the curve on almost everything when it comes to, as you were talking about. There's the internet, create a character, put it on the internet.
Yeah.
People want, and then he's had the podcast for 7 years. So, but the same as you, he was like, why would I go? That doesn't make any business sense to do all that shit.
I still believe you need to do the 10,000 hours. You know
no,
yourself.
yeah, you're right. Yeah,
you need to drive around. You need to understand this country. You need to understand other places. And I think you can only do that by driving down. But I've done 20 years of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I still will, like, I will do a venue if I sell it out. That's it. Like, and I have to be guaranteed. And it's so funny, the various parts of Ireland that you get to understand. You get to see everything.
Yeah.
I mean, what's very funny is I laugh at I laugh at some of the politicians we have and commentators and media people who basically have been to just go to UCD and then go straight into the Fine Gael party.
This is the thing. They wondered how your man Peter Casey got any kind of voting.
Yeah.
It was because, not because whether... Okay, some mad fucking fuckers followed his crazy rhetoric. He was just quite literally, the fucker was doing it as a bet. For sure he was. Because
and now he's running for the
he ripped
Parliament.
the blueprint from Donald Trump, the mad, crazy right shit he was coming out with. But he stood outside the Pale and went down and met people. And they went, that's the first fucking politician we've seen in ever. And you're going to have somebody like Leo. Do you think he can relate to anybody in West Kerry?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So guys, we just need to just work hard.
Work
just really hard.
Get up early in the morning.
These socks are not going to buy themselves.
No, they're not. I'm going to go for a jog now. It's unbelievable. Like someone like Michael Healey, the way they talk down to him, and all of this. The man is the shrewdest person I've ever seen in my life, and a very intelligent person. I know people don't like his views. I know people don't like that thing, but to understand the people, you have to kind of be among them.
Yeah.
And that's why being a traveling comedian is important. It's just, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
I've learned all I need to know. But I don't mean that in an egotistical way. I just mean, it's like your man building it. He still had to do his 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You still have to build it. But there is a time when not the traveling stops, but when you're able to put it all together and formulate it into something. Like, the only reason I'm selling out these shows in Upper Tannies is because you get your dinner with the show. Which is great. Yeah. Everybody wants dinner and a show. It's an American concept that we don't actually do here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're loving that. So, obviously I'm going to, next time I'm doing it and you're free, I want you to come for dinner and the show. You'd love it. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. I really want to go see it.
I love it. But what I'm saying is, we're living in the world of the internet now. There's no value to anything anymore. You're not selling albums and making 10 cents an album.
Yeah.
So you have to build something else. And I think that's what your man has done with the internet.
Yeah.
I still believe to understand a place and to come up with good material, you have to travel the whole country and know it by heart. Like, I've lived in Donegal for 10 years and Dublin. So I'm getting both. I'm in the forgotten county and in the place that's getting everything.
Yeah.
And you start to understand that there are many little republics in Ireland.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're from Tipperary, right?
Yeah.
Tipperary is the most insane county in Ireland and elects the most insane politicians.
Oh, yeah.
Again and again.
Yeah.
And they won't be told.
No.
And I kind of like that they won't be told.
No, well, you see, this is the thing. You're dealing with... Well, you see, again, it's a microcosm. Like, there is no feeling of togetherness with Dublin.
No.
You can feel it. Like, I mean, there's... And it's it's a county that's self-contained in itself, in that it's... It would be quite a wealthy county because of the agriculture, and I suppose they've good roads through it and all the rest. So they have the pharmaceutical side of things and everything else. But you can see it. They don't give a fuck.
No.
But I see it in Wicklow too. I see it in other places. Like, they don't give a fuck. Like, you're going to tell them, sorry, we're going to be pedestrianising College Green. It's going to take $4 billion. And you're like, $4 fucking billion. Yet I have to fucking purposely buy a 4x4 just to go down our road.
I know.
Because it's so bad.
Yeah.
And you want to lay fucking reconstituted granite on College Green and rip it up again in fucking 6 months' time.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, like in Galway, get the stone from China because some asshole's doing a deal.
Yeah. Oh, that's all it is.
The stone from China, by the way, rots in the horrific Galway weather. and everybody has to dig it up. But by the way, they put it down the wrong way around.
They did, yeah.
And then they
rounded, yeah.
Then they had to pick it up. I know, fellas.
That is digging holes and fucking filling them in again, isn't it?
Half of Galway was on crutches because they were falling down so many fucking holes. I mean,
if ever that was the more Irish thing ever, like talk about fucking shoveling light into dark corners, like you're going, them bricks are wrong way. All of them are
coming up.
So nobody came on halfway and went, fucking bricks, lads.
No, but it took 2 years for them to get back to here as well. Somebody bought them for 10 million quid from China. And then it took a year to get over and get them, and a year to get them back. I mean, it was just...
Well, it's the same on Amazon. If you don't pay for the fast delivery, Paddy, you know what I mean?
You're done. And someone's trying to shove it through the letterbox, they won't fit. And then you have to go down to the feckin' post office to collect it.
Left it in bin.
You never see it. There's a whole order I got from Amazon once I never got. They just never got
ordering
to me.
From my own fucking website about 3 weeks ago, and it hasn't arrived yet, so I'm kind of going, has your one next door robbed it or something?
That's brilliant. But do you know what I mean? It's that level of idiocy. Like I was in Donegal one time during the winter, the big snow.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually missed a late show because I couldn't drive down.
Fuck, right.
Because the ice on the road was so severe, and I live on top of a hill, that the car would have just smashed into a wall,
Right.
And the council kept putting out these things going, come to us for sand and salt. And everyone's like, but we can't come to you because the fucking roads are covered in ice. This kind of maddening thing. So 2 local lads they had their own sand and their own salt, and they did the whole area.
Yeah.
You couldn't even depend on government.
Yeah, no. You can't, like.
So it's like, this self-reliance breeds contempt.
Of course it does. Like when our roads got flooded when we were children, there was no, like, for years they were asking for the River Arlo, which went by, to be redirected and deepened. So and it was as soon as they did it, never issue again. Wouldn't do it for years and years. Like the amount of times we used to actually have to go in to school in a tractor and trailer because physically it was the only thing that was like 7 foot above the water. But you're kind of going, well, what does that tell you? Like that you are the forgotten people, like.
Oh, totally.
And you hear people going, it's not, the water, we pay for the water. You don't fucking know how lucky. People in Galway have had poison coming out of the taps for fucking 4 years.
I know that,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
but I did love the Irish. I was a major, not a major player, but I majorly got involved in the Anti-Irish Water campaign.
Did you?
Yeah, because it's a national security issue.
Right.
I don't want water privately owned.
Yes.
I mean, somebody could buy that water company.
Like Nestle.
Yeah. And then they can thirst you to death.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a national security issue. Water has to be publicly owned by our government, by us. That's it. So that was my main issue. My issue was not with monitoring or metering or anything like that. But the fact that they also, you knew that they wanted to sell it to a private individual.
Yes,
and you knew that was where it was going. So I thought the response to that was the greatest thing I've ever seen. I know country people suffer and have to pay water charges, but it was still the greatest mass movement in history. And
it was brilliant,
in Irish history, since the conscription challenge, right, where even the bishops fucking came out against conscription, the only time they've sided with the Irish people ever in history. And the government kept lying and lying and lying. It was hilarious. They were saying 60% of people have paid their bills. No, they fucking haven't. Because if 60% have paid their bills, you'd eventually get the other 40 to pay it.
Yeah.
Nobody was paying the bills. In fact, I want to do a sketch on the 10th anniversary in 2024 of the greatest water demonstration, where I show you what to do with all your unused water bills. You fill a full bath and make them the padding for your head in the bath. You turn them into briquettes.
Do you remember them yolks? Or did I dream
and
that?
you burn, you see...
Did I dream that? The yolk that they were trying to sell?
Oh, yeah.
You compress paper.
You compress paper and turn it into briquettes. Now, good idea.
I didn't dream it, did I?
No, it happened.
Right.
It was almost like a compression thing. But again, I go back to all this stuff about climate change, right? So, you're from the country, the world isn't going to end in 12 years. So what the Democrats in America are saying is total bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Banks are still giving out 35-year mortgages.
Yeah.
And insurance companies are still guaranteeing those 35-year mortgages, even in Florida. Yeah. Where a fucking hurricane comes every year and rips the roof off your house.
Yeah.
So there's something in the climate change argument which needs to get fucked, right? Because it's not good.
Oh, well, this is... I'll actually listen to...
I believe in climate change.
Yeah.
But I believe there's ways of solving it. Like if you want solutions for things, right? How about we just grow 1 million trees in Ireland in the next few years?
It'd
right?
be simple enough to, yeah.
Because I tell you one thing, trees eat carbon.
Yeah, there's no arguing that.
Taxes that you give to the government don't eat carbon.
Yes, yeah.
So fuck off with that as well.
Yeah,
no,
you're right. Yeah, no, yeah.
I'm not saying this to be I vote Green. Green have always been my number 2 or number 1 vote all my life.
Yeah.
Because I hate pollution and I hate grotesque things like that, and I want to care for our environment and all of these type of things. But don't be coming up with a thing called a carbon tax.
Yeah, fuck off yourself, like, yeah.
Yeah, when there are practical everyday solutions. I want every street in Dublin to be tree-lined. Like, my uncle's house in America was in Wayne, New Jersey, where the band Fountains of Wayne are from.
Yes, yeah.
You look at a lot of New Jersey, and you always think New Jersey as being an industrial wasteland. It's not. It's covered in trees. Covered in them. I would look at the hill where his house was, and you couldn't see any houses. There's so many trees.
But sure, even I remember going up. We did the J1 in Boston back in the day, and I remember thinking, God, Ireland is a green country. You go up in the Prudential building, which is about 18 or 20 stories.
Yeah,
and you can't see the city. You go up there, and all you can see is fucking trees.
Yeah.
Now, a tree fell on a woman over in Stephen's Green.
Oh, right.
3 years ago.
Oh, Jesus.
And they cut down every fucking tree in Dublin as a result of it. Every one that was even half looking a bit gammy. You're like, okay, I get you. Replace them with a different type of tree that doesn't bust in the footpath. That isn't going to fucking fall over.
Yeah.
Put something in there like, you know, a poplar or something that has the correct rooting. That
exactly.
isn't going to fucking come...
And
like,
these, correct, organic solutions.
Instead, just go in with a saw. Fuck that.
But I've got guys like... Amazingly, to the 1798 show, I built up this network of friends and people in Wexford and places like that. They're unbelievable people, and I've really got great hopes for the country now since meeting them. Because they care deeply about the history. They care deeply about preserving the country and all of that, you know? And supposedly this new 5G line is going in everywhere, and they're cutting every tree down everywhere. But people are noticing it, putting it on social media, getting it out there. What we need to do is get people in who will just do practical solutions.
Yeah.
This thing of pay your carbon tax because China likes cars. Fuck off. It's too vague and it drives everybody mad.
Yeah.
It's like I said to the Greens myself. Find a guy who'll develop a personal windmill that costs 600 quid and a solar panel that costs 500 quid, and every human being will use it.
Yeah.
Every human being will buy one and use it.
Yeah.
Don't be banning diesel cars until you give me an electric car that will do 500k, because that's what I need to do in a night to do my gig.
Yeah.
Right? And the charge better not take
4 hours.
4 hours.
Yeah.
Like, these are easily solved things, and make them all 10 grand, and we'll buy them. We'll buy them. But don't be telling us, don't do this, don't do that, I'm banning that and I'm getting rid of this, and you're paying a carbon tax when you can plant a tree. Just give me the solution, not the problem.
No, solutions aren't... But see, who are you talking to? You're not talking to men or women that have ever had to actually work at a business.
Yeah.
Like, realistically, people, or have ever ran a fucking shop even.
I know.
These are people who are born to be politicians. Being a politician is like... It's like being a swimmer, but you know all the techniques about swimming, but you've never once fucking done a tap, like, in a way. You've never done a stroke. Like, they know about being a politician, but there's no solutions in them. Like, it's just...
Yeah, I mean, technology solves everything.
Yeah, of course.
Right? It causes problems, but it solves everything as well. Do you know what I mean? I come out with very unpopular things sometimes. Like, I say that everyone in Ireland should do national service for 3 months.
I do believe it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Either after school or after college.
Whether it's cooking or whatever.
Anything. Any kind of public service, but just everyone for 3 months has to do it. Right?
How is that unpopular? I don't see how that could be unpopular.
Because everybody wants to happily go to their boys only public school, then to UCD, and then straight into politics. They don't want to have to mix with the lower orders.
Of course, this is the truth of it. Yeah.
Now, I remember when the e-revolution happened in Dublin, right, in the early 90s.
Yeah.
I was there when these were £25. Now, I'm not advocating drug use, but all I know is that for some reason it mixed all of these different people together. We were hanging out with complete scobes. They were hanging out with us. And I think it generated in Dublin a really exciting Dublin in the 90s.
Right.
Where country people, poor people, rich people, everybody was equal. It actually got down to that. It was all through love of music and dancing and festivals, but illegal raves, all of these types of things.
Yeah.
And in a sense, it did set up a sort of brotherhood. which I
Right.
know is weird. But as a United Irishman, I believe in this. So you're kind of there going, we have to have national service so that the fella from Dalkey who thinks everything's perfect gets to mix with the guy from Gardner Street.
Yeah.
And they all serve and work together for 3 months. That's all I'm asking. And they all go, what they do is they go and they plant trees, they dig trenches, they help people when there's a flood. Whatever job needs to be done. And they have to travel out of their comfort zone to where they aren't. Do you know what I mean? These are solutions. I mean, I know this isn't very funny for your podcast, but
I know people like to listen to. It's not like it can't be fucking wire to wire, roaring, laughing either. Like, I'm a firm. Anybody I've spoken to, all like people from like South African chaps. Now I played rugby with a fair few South Africans.
Oh yeah,
they loved their year in service. Like some lads went on to be chefs as a result of it. Some lads were, they went the engineering corps. Some people just went.
Yeah.
But some people, nobody was giving up. But it also gave them an extra year to think about, what will I do in college?
It gives people a focus.
I'm tipping away here and I'm making a couple of quid. It's almost like a gap year. And they don't flog you. You know what I mean? It isn't.
No.
You're not going on to be an actual fucking SAS soldier.
But it's to help you get fit.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I'd done a year in military service. I really do.
So do I.
Because I would love the discipline. I'm pretty disciplined in certain ways, but I just love to have that instilled. And I think everybody needs to, it's great. People get to Euro train and travel around Europe and whatever bollocks, But honestly, I think there just needs to be a little bit of discipline show up, especially now, because we're living in the era of
immediate gratification,
but also of identity, where everybody is roaring at each other on Twitter and Facebook. if you don't follow the ideological 20 commandments, and let's say you're different on one of them, you're immediately dead to the group.
Oh yeah,
And this is problematic because no one has a sense of humor anymore. It's going to become desperate, I mean, I remember walking into college in NCAD in 1991 and going, okay, girls, just so we're clear, you drink glasses, lads drink pints. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
They all roared laughing because they were going, he's pretending to be a dickhead.
Yeah.
I was half pretending to be a dickhead. Half of me was being a dickhead. But
we were all dickheads at that age.
We were, but it was fun. And it's like we were able to kind of make, like, everybody dressed the same weirdly in the early 90s as well. Like, there was no kind of, everybody looked dowdy. I mean, if you look at the celebrations in 1990 of Italia 90 when Packie scores the goal, I always say, one of my jokes on the show is that, the Book of Kells was the most amazing thing that ever happened in Ireland. And everything was miserable after that until 1990 when Packie saved that goal. Yeah. Right? But you see people jumping around, and the men and women are all dressed the same.
Yeah.
They're all waving tricolours.
Yeah.
There's no arsehole revisionist shouting, "Don't wave the tricolour, it's insulting to people here who believe in Britain." Like, we're Irish. Yeah. We're all Irish together. Let's just enjoy this. Can we please enjoy this? And we did. We were allowed to enjoy things. We're not allowed anymore. Everyone's pointing out everybody's flaws all of the time.
But do you think it's everybody? Because I personally don't think
it's
everybody.
You're right. There's a cabal on Twitter and Facebook. Yeah,
because I go out there or I go and I do a gig in Belfast or I do a gig in Cork. And there isn't, I can tell you, and my stuff isn't exactly soft rubbing your back kind of comedy, but nobody's whinging.
No.
You can see, the only thing that Joe or Josephine gives a fuck about is, can I pay the rent or mortgage?
Yeah.
Am I going to have something in the freezer? And is this fucker going to make me laugh? That's it. That's it.
And you do.
It's rarely that people go, excuse me. Because if they do, I go, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Don't make me come down there because I am a feminist. I will slap you.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So
exactly. And
it's the dangerous world of social media.
Yeah,
I reckon shut the fucking lockdown for just a week.
Yeah, but also people need to get out more.
Yeah,
I mean, it's honestly...
That's the danger of it. Getting out.
But this is what I'm saying. We got to mix together.
Yeah.
Like the way people go on, like, it's like they think whole swathes of the country are backward hellholes. And you're there going, well, just go down and live among the people and realize that they're kind of live and let live people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It kind of surprised everybody when the marriage equality vote came through.
Yeah.
And they're going, like they were ready for some horrific fight.
You could see
it. Horrific judgment
you could
call.
see that, yeah.
And it was like, all the grannies and the people voted for it. So there we go. Like, people are generally very good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And we just have to get back to that level of positivity about people. You know what I mean? Because all I've known with the 1798 thing, it's like it blows people's minds because these guys were going, I have faith in humanity. We're all equal. Let's all work together.
Right, yeah.
Let's unify and unite. The problem with the left, let's say, in the world today is that it keeps sniping itself into irrelevance. The one thing about right wingers is they just stick together. They're going like, I just want money. That's it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So whatever old shit, you know. I mean, Trump is a great example. Trump, people like I have a totally different view on Donald Trump than almost everybody I know.
Well,
I don't.
The
even
man
think,
does not give any kind of fuck.
No, but it's almost inspiring.
Yeah, I get. Yeah,
the level of fucks he doesn't give.
Yeah,
like they attack him. Like I've never seen an attack on anybody in my life, and I lived through George W. Bush, who was the worst president of all time. And I regularly have people with college degrees saying to me, Donald Trump is the worst president of all time, and I'm like, he's not even the 11th worst.
Yeah,
he's like
he might be the worst person or look the worst. He looks pretty bad.
Look at Warren G. Harding and Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, and there was no gorgeous. Yeah,
look at some of these wankers. But what I'm saying is, like, people are interpreting even the words coming out of his mouth all wrong. You know, and let's admit it, he's not a.
He's no orator.
He's no orator. But I remember more of what he says than even Obama. Like when Obama said circular firing squad the other day, I thought that was brilliant because I barely remember a lot of what Obama said.
It's a great line. It's a great phrase, actually. Yeah.
But he was warning his own people: stop with this shit. You're destroying yourselves.
Yeah.
You know this virtue signaling, this kind of ideological purity test you all keep doing on each other. You know.
Yeah.
As in, you know, you're. I believe in this. Great. You're a liberal. I don't really like abortion, though. Okay, you're out. Good luck. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is what happens. And that's fair enough. Let them do that. But you're not going to unify a bunch of people together if they don't come up perfectly in your perfect, pure worldview.
But that's worse than any Third Reich, like, you know what I mean? If everybody has to be exactly down the fucking line.
The line on every issue, and it's quite
how
strange to me.
How could you hang out with anybody? Because you're never all going to be the exact same.
The joy of debate, is learning something. Like, I love when somebody proves me wrong.
Yeah.
Because I'm there going, fuck, I've learned something today. That's great. Like a guy, was giving me a thing about Israel the other day, and he's gay, and he was saying, look, gays don't have their own country, do they? And we're illegal in 72 countries. Right.
Fucking right, yeah.
So, did gays argue to have their own country that they live in? You know. Now, at the same time, I can still go, there's a mad historical history with Israel and all of that goes way back. And it's just, I mean, the first destruction of them in 70 AD is just horrendous to read about and talk about. And that's where they're flung to the four corners of the earth. But again, I don't want to get into it because people just get fucking enraged. But I always look at everything now through the United Irish lens, which is when people talk about a two-state solution to Israel, I go, no, there should just be one country where everybody lives in peace together and loves each other. Because a two-state solution, by another name, is partition.
Yeah. And
partition has never fucking worked anywhere. Nah. Anywhere. What everybody has to do is see each other's common humanity and live together in peace and love and harmony. You know, I mean, the Palestinians and Jews even argue about who invented hummus, for Christ's sake.
I saw that on a TV show one day. I went, all right, I'm out.
Do you know what I mean? So, like, we have to get past all that stuff and kind of, again, get down to Lord Edward and Wolfe Tone and the lads, Napper Tandy, and what they talked about, which was just put all that shit aside and let's just find our common humanity.
It's amazing that they were that much foresight back then. Like,
Lord Edward was the brother of the richest man in Ireland, okay? He joins the British Army at 18 years of age. He's wounded so badly at a battle in the American Revolution in the southern states that he's left on the battlefield to die. He wakes up in a hut. Who's rescued him? An escaped slave called Tony Small.
Stop.
It's one of the most incredible stories you'll ever hear in your life. The poorest of the poor rescues the richest of the rich.
Yeah.
He brings him back to Ireland, and Tony and Lord Edward are inseparable until 1798 when Lord Edward is tragically left to die in prison. And the story of an escaped runaway slave who has no power whatsoever, and this man, Lord Edward, who realised on his American incursions and by being rescued by this guy that all men are equal and we have to fight for that.
Yeah,
it's one of the greatest stories.
Yeah.
And he was called Faithful Tony because he was always by his side. Lord Edward married Pamela Orleans, who was the daughter of one of the great French revolutionaries. He witnessed the French Revolution. He witnessed Louis XVI being beheaded.
Wow. So he had good opinions coming home then.
Then he got his hair cut in the revolutionary style, which was short back and sides, which is where we get the word croppy. And everybody starts doing that in Ireland as well, who joins the United Irishmen. They all get their hair cut short. Now, bad tactics, because if the redcoats want to pick you up, they look at your haircut and you're fucked. Yeah.
I mean, I look at hipsters today and you can see some of the things,
they all want to look like Roger Casement.
Yeah.
Yeah. but I know that story is it's not beside the point. It is the point. It's the point of equality. It's the point of, like, Faithful Tony. There should be a plaque and a painting of Tony Small.
How do we
in
not
Leinster
know
House.
more about this man?
Exactly. And Leinster House. Why Leinster House? Because that was the fucking home of the Duke of Leinster. His country house was Carton House. His castle was Kilkee Castle.
Oh, stop.
His summer house was Frascati House, which is now a fucking shopping centre. These were the richest people in Ireland, the Dukes of Leinster. They owned Laois, Offaly and Kildare. Right?
I could have left off Laois, but
Well, as it was called, Queen's County back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's
Offaly
right,
Offaly was King's County. And Portlaoise was called Maryborough.
Was it called Maryborough?
Yes, Maryborough. That's why it's Maryborough Prison. But what I'm saying is that the story of Lord Edward and Tony Small, which is in my show, to me is the greatest example of, egalitarianism. Figuring out that we're all equal. They were rescued when they did an expedition into Canada. They were rescued by a bunch of Irish settlers. And Lord Edward's sitting in this cabin with these Irish people living in it. They've got their own land, 5 acres each. And he's there going, my own people in Ireland don't have this. They're under the penal laws.
Yeah.
Like the penal laws, you couldn't even go within 5 miles of a corporate town.
What?
Yeah. Like somewhere like Clane or Naas or places like that. You couldn't go within 5 miles. So Wolfe Tone never met a Catholic till he was 18.
Holy shit.
He couldn't even see them, even though they're 75% of the country.
Yeah.
They're hiding. So, like, we have to understand the fucking progress that has been made.
Yeah.
And stop tearing each other fucking down on small differences. Because those guys fought and died to get us to where we are now. We're about to get a united Ireland. People need to start fucking thinking about this shit. You know what I mean?
It is coming, like.
Oh, it's coming. And we need equality. And we need to stop screwing ourselves financially. Like, we have to stop pretending everything's okay.
I know, yeah.
You know what I mean? And see, again, this stuff I'm talking to you would not go down well in the laughter lounge. On a Saturday night, as you said.
Technically, we're in the laughter lounge.
Yeah, we are in the laughter lounge. But, it's going down well with you, I hope.
Tell me this, because you only touched on it briefly. Yeah. How long are you with the Late Late Show?
10 years now.
And is that the Camembert Quartet?
That's Camembert Quartet, yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened was, we did the second album, the Camembert Quartet, Sell Out, where we took the piss out of the Irish music business.
Okay.
Totally, our first single was Boy Bands Are Cunts. Which didn't go down well.
That's a great title.
And I used the word cunt 48 times in the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Now, you wouldn't be allowed to do that now. I don't think you'd be allowed.
Fuck it. Can you give me just the chorus of it even? Because you can say
Boy
cunt.
bands are cunts. Boy bands are cunts. Boy bands are cunts. And there's another lyric in it.
It's catchy.
Yeah, it's great. And they I did it in... I came 6th in the UK Musical Comedy Awards.
Did you?
Doing it, yeah, in 2013, yeah. But that's when I realised I didn't want to do comedy anymore. It's terrible. It was one of those things. And then it did well in terms of notoriety. We had other songs like We Came to Rock and Roll and Get Our Hole, which was a piss take of heavy metal. Mom Stayed in My Pit was a piss take of kind of grunge.
Yeah.
And, these... so all of our stuff was taking the piss out of the music business itself and musical styles.
Right.
Like we did a Radiohead style song called Slit Your Wrists. So everything we did was extremely extreme. But Ryan Tuberty loved, we did a cover of Anarchy in the UK, but in a Frank Sinatra style. And it was done as revenge against Sid Vicious, who had covered My Way in a punk style.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so we called it Frank's Revenge. You got to hear Sid Vicious' version of My Way. It's fantastic. So, regrets, I've had a few. Right, it's great.
Yeah.
But, so we did that, and Ryan just adored it, right? Because it was, I am an antichrist. I am an anarchist. Don't know what I want, but I know how to get it. I want to destroy passers-by because I want to be anarchy. You know, so it's that type of thing. Full brass, all that type of thing. So he played that. He loved it. Got us in the radio show. We did our second album then, Sell Out, because we were going on the we were going on the Tubridy Tonight Show.
Okay.
So we did 5 years of that and 10 years on the Late Late when he moved over. He brought us with him.
Right.
So that's 15 years doing TV.
That's class.
40 Fridays a year. Yeah, it's been interesting, you know.
There was one that always sticks out in my head because he'll reference you every so, you know what I mean? He'll reference you and you obviously play music that's relevant to whoever's coming in and stuff like that. But I remember he did one. He had Russell Crowe on.
Oh yeah.
And it looked like Russell had a few pints.
Yeah.
And there was kind of an awkward chat going on between the two lads, and then it came to a point where Russell was going to. He announced that he sang in a band.
Yeah.
And he said, "Would you sing as a number?" And I was watching this, and I'm pretty sure I tweeted you right at that time, or I messaged you right at that time, because I would feel looking down from I think you were up on the balcony at that
stage.
stage.
The stupid balcony.
And I remember thinking, if I was Paddy right now, I'd be going, Jesus. Because Russell looked half cut.
Oh, yeah.
Walking over. He lost his temper and everything with the audience that night. He was trying, what was he?
You guys don't clap.
Yeah.
No, but he's right, because the Late Late Show audience, sorry.
They're dire. They've no rhythm. They're the whitest people on the fucking
planet. They are, and they clap on the 1 and the 3 as well. So they're almost killing the melody with their 1 and their 3. You know, it's like, Sweet Caroline. And you're kind of going, no. You sound like you're trying to get sauce out of a bottle. You know, like it's appalling. And then when the poor trad acts are on, like Altan, people who I love, you know.
Yeah.
The minute they start the old, the jig or the reel.
Yeah.
You know, immediately the audience starts stomping their feet and clapping and going way, way too fast. Like even Christy Moore has to come on and say, please don't clap because you're going to speed me up. You know? But that's what happens, you see.
That's why he's always sweating bullets just trying to keep up with the audience.
The Irish audience has him destroyed. You know, the T-shirts are constantly in the wash basket.
Was that the only time that a guest has decided, I'm going to join the Camembert Quartet?
Well, Russell, see, again, the balcony, I think, is a problematic thing. We shouldn't be up there. We should be down on the floor. But that's for the designers or whatever. But he doesn't want to play down on the couch. He wants to be with the band behind him. So we did later, when he came back one time, we did a full song with him on stage, which was great. But he came up to us. It was like, down clip. And then nobody knew what to do. And everyone disappeared. And we just had 2 minutes just setting up and getting ready. And I really like that live on air.
Oh, it was brilliant.
But then he does Folsom Prison Blues. And he's fucking brilliant. Like, he is a force.
But he stopped them then because they started clapping. He was like, look, don't clap.
Don't clip.
If you don't, you know.
Don't clip.
I was because I put up the like a gif of, do you remember them? Just play the fucking note. Remember the Father Ted, like with the fags in his mouth?
Yeah.
Play the fucking note.
That's what
like
it was.
He was about
That's
to
what it
snap.
was. He's a grumpy musician, an actor.
Yeah,
all lead singers, I know this as a lead singer myself, are grumpy, egotistical bastards.
Right.
That's just what it is. You know, you have to deal with all this shit. You know, and but he was great. He was brilliant, and everyone thought he was being mean to me, but I was getting on with it because I know exactly his mindset.
Okay, right.
Oh no.
From the outside looking in, you're going.
No, he was fantastic. I just love him, and I love Russell Crowe playing with us. It was a great thing to happen.
That's class. Yeah.
But even better was when Rod Stewart was on recently. And he'd insisted, his people had insisted, Rod will not sing. He needs a 2-hour warm-up for his voice, all this type of thing. Now, what you find with all these guests is when they come on, it's not them that are the bollockses. It's the people around them, and it's not their fault. They're just the rules they make.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't blame his people either. But we got the crowd warmed up. We did Maggie May. We did Sailing. We did handbags and glad
Yes,
rags, right?
yeah.
So we did that, and the crowd was going apeshit even before he came on, right?
Brilliant.
So the minute he comes on, he's like, this crowd. And then we ended up doing both Maggie May and Grace with him.
Yeah, I remember he did Grace, all right, yeah.
And then he had that very emotional moment with Ryan, where Ryan gave him the book of Joseph Plunkett's poetry, a first edition. And he started crying. So these moments are when it works right.
Yes,
it's brilliant.
yeah.
But you need the band there to do all the warming up to get the thing jizzed
That's
up.
what I would have thought. Yeah.
And because we were there and he loved the crowd, he got up and starts singing and starts doing that little dance thing he does, which I love. You know, that little thing.
Yeah.
And it was just we played him on with "Do You Think I'm Sexy" as well, which is still a masterpiece.
Oh yeah,
Jesus
you know. Christ.
So you're there, kind of going. It is great to meet these people.
Yeah.
You know, John C. Reilly is great as well. You know, John C. Reilly.
Yes, yeah. From
So he came on with Alan Partridge or Steve Coogan. And they did the Laurel and Hardy song.
I know. I remember seeing that. Did you know that?
No,
Right.
It's all off the cuff.
Okay, Christ Almighty, right? Says you're going. Oh.
This shit is real, and it happens. And I know, but people like. It seems like we do very little, but actually, when we do the things, they make unique moments happen.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So that's what's great about it. And like when they start doing the Lonesome Pine, you know, all that stuff. And they did harmony together. And like I think Partridge is a genius. I mean, I think what he did there was one of the greatest moments in Irish history. Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly did. Like it didn't.
But
go,
his
it didn't
perfect
go viral enough. How viral?
No,
it was.
His perfect Irish accent.
But I saw it.
By the way, the DVD of This Time with Alan Partridge is in Asda right now in Strabane. Go and buy it, everybody, for a tenner. Because we don't get those BBC DVDs here, but they have them there, and I need to preserve it in gold.
Did you see him when he was on Moonboy?
No.
Coogan, and he was obviously playing a Roscommon fish farmer.
Unbelievable.
But he was a sleazy, long-haired fellow who went around and he had a big house, and you would turn up to the big house, and he had the two women.
But have you noticed that Irish actors can't even do Irish accents?
No, they can't. Because as soon as somebody thinks, I'm going to do your accent, Tom, because you're from down the country, they do this weird high-pitched diddly-die. You're like, there is nobody.
I know.
There's maybe one bloke in Cork that sounds like that.
Yeah.
But there's no... But he nailed it.
He is pitch perfect. That farmer, the Sligo farmer, is like nothing I've ever heard of. Oh, there knows. You're feeding turf to the cattle.
Oh, sure. Who the hell is that?
Who the hell is that?
But
and then trying to get a pig to lay an egg. You know, they used to come to the farm. You try and get a pig to lay an egg.
But
I'm there going, this is genius.
Did you see the turtle? Like the turtle thing, he just...
Oh, yeah.
Boxing. See there? says Ellen. Says Ellen.
Yeah.
It's like, sorry that.
But he's paying amazing tribute to Spike Milligan there.
You want any more of them, you come to me.
Come to me.
You come to me. And it's the way he just...
But how did he get the cast eye and the bad teeth?
How the fuck did he do that?
Genius. I think he's able to do it. I think it's one of those things he's able to do.
He is so... oh my God.
He's a genius. And the whole thing was genius because his Me Too episode was stunning. The one about the peasants' revolt.
I saw that. Yeah, I didn't see the Me Too one.
The Me Too one is the one after. It's stunning, where he's trying to lick women's arses and be a sneaky fucker, and and go, I was this, and he tells his own Me Too story, and it's a pathetic, awful attempt, but it's all to ingratiate himself with the women, and the women being nice have to allow him to tell his shit story. It's brilliant. It's like the satire is just shooting out in so many directions. It's a work of art.
That's what I mean. There's so much going on that you break it back down. You go, your average person, your average comedian could only maybe knock out one or two of those. You're throwing them away. You're throwing away like high quality stuff in every direction.
It's scattergun, but it's brilliant. I mean, and funny. He's an obsessive as well, but he's a left winger. He's a Jeremy Corbyn supporter.
Oh yeah.
So. When everybody else has backed away from Jeremy Corbyn, it's horrific. I like Jeremy Corbyn. All he wants to do is make the trains run on time and put them back into public ownership and not cost fucking 900 quid. But the leftism comes out in that brilliant peasant revolt sketch.
Yeah.
Where he's saying, those nasty peasants drinking Scrumpy Jack and pissing in the bushes, while the bishop's men rode in. Now, everybody in the world knows the Peasants' Revolt was a righteous thing.
Yeah.
And it made King John write the Magna Carta, so there was finally some fucking law in England, you know what I mean, that protected people.
With the fact that he was able to point, yeah.
But he turns it around and he goes, if those rotten peasants, and while he's stabbing one of the peasants, he goes, because he gets into reenactment mode and he gets stabbed, you should have just gone through the proper channels. Like there was channels, like there was. His understanding of history again is masterful.
With the fine details,
and his obsession with engineering cars.
Yeah,
it's very Flann O'Brien. Flann O'Brien of Steam Men. That brilliant segment of Flann O'Brien where he's obsessed about fucking locomotive engineering.
It's that nerdy side of things where you're going to have
It's
your
man.
own, you're
Nerd
gonna have,
man.
But you know for a fact, like Alan Partridge's attic would have a train set. You know what I mean? Like, but he did a driving around one as well. Do you remember he drove around the Land Rover Defender and he wore like driving gloves as well? Like,
and the big stupid jacket.
there's tiny details,
The
like
details,
that,
yeah.
where he'd think the camera's rolling. Is the camera? I should walk over the hill, and it was it's like Catherine Tate had that level of in her, like the tiniest, like eyebrows were right. Do you know what I mean? No stone was left unturned for every character. She was great.
The person I most associate with Alan Partridge is Victoria Wood.
Because
the love of character,
the
love of dialogue, the absolutely insanely good writing, the brilliant mimicry. You know, her Anne Widdecombe song at the end of one of her Christmas specials is probably the greatest thing ever done in the world, in this history of the world. It's funny, just back to Trump for a second, we were very lucky as a band to perform 4 times with Joan Rivers.
Did you?
Every time she came to Ireland, we'd perform with her. And it was like, she was so funny, it was like being levitated off the ground. And you're literally floating around the place, right? And she was great friends with Donald Trump.
Right.
Of course she was. She won the Apprentice, Celebrity Apprentice, the first one that came out.
Yeah.
But who reminds me most of Joan Rivers? Donald Trump. Honestly, I know people hate him, but when he's funny, he's really fucking funny. I know it's a really I know it's a controversial thing to say. Like when he says, like, the Democrats will have to stop with this ridiculous bullshit, and he says it in front of 60,000 people.
Yeah.
And you're going like, no one's ever done. But he's got the timing, and he talks like Joan Rivers. There's a comic timing he has.
Yeah, right, actually, yeah.
Because she was like that, you know, she would do this whole, her great joke. I mean, her great joke. She would do this kind of gathering up, like what I've been talking about earlier about unifying people. And she would do this thing at the end of her show, and she would go, so it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're straight, you're gay, you're Christian, you're Muslim, any of that. You know, we all agree together as a people on one thing. Kate Middleton is the luckiest cunt on the planet. And
that's the same. It does actually. He has the same flow as that. Actually,
it's New York.
It's very New York.
It's the New York timing. It's a working class New York accent.
Yeah.
My mother's from New Jersey. I see huge amounts of, you know, me and my mom would always say, you know, we know who he is. He's one of those Queens builders, guys who builds hotels and casinos and big egotistical fuck. His grandfather built a hotel at the Klondike.
Yeah.
Which was also a whorehouse.
A whorehouse. But didn't he floated it downriver or something?
He floated it 5 miles downriver. Once they ran out of gold in one part, he floated it down. I mean, it's kind of genius stuff.
But isn't that what they say? Like, you know, he, like everybody else is going to the Klondike to dig gold. He was like, I'm bringing whores and beer. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a smart man. Like, or they say the fellow who makes his millions at the mine isn't the fellow who goes mine, it's the fellow who brings the shovels.
Yeah, but what people don't understand is, like, Donald Trump is very Fianna Fáil. I mean, I've done I did gigs in Bundoran for the McNiffs, you know, the McAniffs.
Yeah.
You know, Donald Trump is a kind of a Fianna Fáil populist hotel builder. There's loads of them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's what he is. Like, they're trying to ascribe, like, Hitlerian stuff to him. And I get it. I see where he goes wrong and all that shit. But I know he's not even that principled. I mean, he's not even principled enough to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. As in, he wants everyone to fucking love him. That's a real Fianna Fáil thing, you know, like, everyone in the room loves me. I want everybody to love me equally. And if you don't love me, I'm going to pay you more money, and then you'll love me. Like, honestly, it's a Fianna Fáil attitude.
Yeah.
And
he'd definitely build a big car park where the town needs
Jesus.
it. Yeah.
Like, the wall, for him, the wall is it's not a racist thing, it's a construction thing.
Yeah, put a heap of men to work.
I want a wall that everyone can see from space, so I beat China at wall building. Like, honestly, it's literally, like, people they're interpreting him wrong. And all you have to do is feed his ego the right way, and you'll get loads of good stuff done. That's going to be
the title of this podcast. There was a few points there I was going to some great names when they appeared like boy bands or cunts, but I think Donald Trump is Fianna Fáil is going to be the title of this week's podcast.
But no, because Fianna Fáil, like Donald Trump, understand populism. They understand. They play to certain people's prejudices, but in general, what they do generally is to try and improve the whole lot of the place, right?
I get you, yeah.
Until 2008, I would have said that. Now I hate them now forever. Fine Gael are different in that they're all about, no, these are the rules and fuck you.
Okay, yeah.
And then punishing you, even if you follow the rules. And like, we're not building any houses. Do the popular thing and build some houses. Jesus Christ. It's easy.
Or let us build our own fucking houses, but cheaply. Like, you
I know,
fuckers, you
but
wouldn't.
like, there's only 50 of them. You're meant to have 80 people to form a government. There's only 50 of them, and they're acting like they own the place.
Yeah.
And you're like, lads, did you not learn from the water campaign? Like, you're down to 50 because of the water campaign. You made yourselves very unpopular. Now start doing some popular things. Now you have a bit of money. Get the old Apple tax. Build a massive estate somewhere and house all the homeless. To just do something simple.
Yeah.
And I think Fianna Fáil understood the simple, like Haughey given the free travel.
Yeah.
Now, even my dad, who had to pay 60% of his salary at the height of the 80s, we were going to get the Tory Island ferry. And the woman goes, oh, you don't have to pay. You're a senior citizen, to my dad. And he just looks at his wallet and goes, thanks, Charlie. No matter what Charlie Haughey did, right? And he was reprehensible in all sorts of ways.
Yeah.
But the free travel,
Yeah.
it's still there as a thing.
It's the popular thing, you
No
see.
countries have that. We're one of the only places that have that. That's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable when you think about it. But also, like at the minute...
The minute you turn 65, you start liking Charlie Haughey.
Yeah.
That's a very clever thing to do from beyond the grave.
Isn't it? we better stick a fork in it. Where, and tell us more exactly when's the next Napper Tandy's gig?
It's going to be the third Wednesday of every month.
Brilliant. So it's
a monthly thing. So it's the 15th of May, 17th of April will be the last one. And continuing on. And hopefully we're going to go lunchtimes every day.
That'd be class.
In June or July. So go to paddycullivan.com to see the details. And I want yourself to come along and have the food is great there, by the way.
I've walked past it a million times.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the staff, everyone involved is amazing. Frank Leeson owns a place. He's getting me to actually totally refit it out. So we've turned the whole pub into a museum.
Brilliant.
So we tell the story of Napper Tandy, we tell the story of Wolfe Tone, Bantry Bay, the rebellion itself. There's one wall dedicated to Wexford, one wall to the Northern Rebellion, one wall to Humbert.
Right.
And Mayo. So you come in, you learn, you eat, and you drink. And the music is great there too. So we're really kind of... I'm trying to set it up almost as a unique museum pub.
There's nothing like that.
Nothing like that.
Absolutely nothing comes close to that.
And I might even see if Tipperary did anything in 1798. I have no idea.
Probably.
I tell you were just taking care of yourselves.
We were just murdering anything that crossed over the border. That was all it is. Paddy Cullivan, it's been an absolute treat. Thank you very, very much.
You're
Cheers,
the dude. Thanks, Tom.
And again, my thanks to Paddy. Like he said, he'll be in Napper Tandy's. That new show that's going to be lining up, I'll keep you up to date with it because I'm going to go to the one next month and I'll be able to give you a proper review on it. I'm no doubt it's going to be good crack. Like that, if it's your first time listening, please hit subscribe. We're out twice weekly with this show. Not just Bookshop, but we also have the Rabblepot on. I say we. I suppose it's us as listeners and as the fella talking into the microphone. We have it out twice weekly. If you would give it a rating, do give it a rating on whatever platform that allows you to rate. Most likely just Apple Podcasts and Podbean and stuff like that, because it helps other people see it as the ratings go up. Write us a little review too. Give it a good rating. Don't be worried about giving me 3 stars. I learn nothing. No, I'm not going to learn anything from these things. It just helps other people come to the cause and possibly get more Patreons on board to help run the show. If you want anything else, you want to send me a long form thing, just go to tomomahony.com, go straight through the contact page, and you can hook me up that way, or go to bookshoppodcast@gmail.com. You can find me on all the usual platforms, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Just look in for Tom O'Mahony Comedy. You'll find my head. Tom Bear O'Mahony is the Chatty Snaps one, if that's what you like. Send me on what you're up to for the weekend. If you're getting drunk in the sun, send it on to me. If you're cutting silage, would you be cutting silage? You probably might be, even at this early. It's a bit early, but even if you're spreading slurry or doing something gas, send me on a picture of what you're up to. I'd like to see. Right, go on away and enjoy the lovely long weekend. I'll talk to you next week.